Look like Mr. Pouty Face. Mia's helping me out with getting up the 7-0 to put it behind me once and for all. She has a plan to do this, which is good. And the first part of that plan is me going and purchasing $300 worth of 7-0 to then give to her, and she's gonna wean me up. But it just feels weird. You know, I'm trying to not, use them anymore. And here I'm going to the store now to buy a bunch of them. I don't know. Well, they got more in. They got more 10 packs in, I should add. It's kind of funny that I'm logging this whole fucking saga as it happens. Well, it's something, there are people going through it. There are other people that have fell into this trap. I didn't fall into the trap. I fucking climbed down into the trap with a backpack and camping gear, and I willfully went right in. I didn't listen to Corey. Again, we all should have listened to Corey. Probably about a lot of things. He seems to cover a lot of topics over there. But we definitely should have listened to him about the 7-0 thing. But we didn't. And here we are. We meeting, me and you fellas, because I blame you mostly. I mean, yeah, there's I have a part, I play a role in this whole thing. But, I mean, if you're breaking it down, I don't know, I think you guys have a role to play in this as well. I'm sorry for calling you guys. Alright, I'm gonna head over in there. It's probably a coincidence, because you know how I love those things. But sometimes I'll notice things in the neighborhood, as I'm a nudister, and I'll start talking about it, and the status of it will change, or something will happen, so that it's no longer what I said it was. I know this is very fucking cryptic and retarded, but for instance, the people pushing the homeless guys in the wheelchairs. I was noticing that all happening. Hey Justin, I don't see it anymore now. Since I brought it up and was talking about it. Dude, you can't go, brother. Hey, he doesn't care. People don't care. Now I don't see it really. I'm not saying it happened because I was talking about it, but a lot of times things I start talking about will change. So I just noticed something else, but I don't know if it's just if it's real or if I'm just noticing incorrectly. So I'm gonna give it some time, keep my eye on it, and then see what happens. So yeah, I didn't need to share that with you. It was a fucking waste of time. Yeah, I just came out of the 7-0 place and got fucking four packs of these things. Eating one right now. I don't know how you get out of something like this. It's money, I guess. As long as you can afford to do it, you will do it until there's no more money. I will say the good thing though is at least it's not illegal. Like if I'm gonna get addicted to something, and when I say addicted, it's not like, I've been taking these things for 4 months, and yeah, the days I came off it, all the times I came off it, and I triumphantly make a video saying how I beat it. It sucks, right? Like it's regular kind of withdrawal shit. Let me sorry, just gonna try to cut across the street, but it's more like the anticipation of being sick as an opioid user for many years. When I would try not so much to get off it. When I would run out of resources or a connect or money or whatever it was, and I couldn't bet them, it would end up being a withdrawal scenario, and the thinking about the withdrawal is always way worse than the withdrawal itself. I got used to the withdrawal itself back in the opioid days, because it would happen pretty often. You know, it would happen pretty often because for me, I was one of those guys that would just, if I ran out of money, I would just wait till I got more money. I was never boosting stuff. I never robbed anyone. That's not my style. So I would just top it out. And there's little tricks you can do, like when it comes to opioids, like what's that? The Pepto-Bismol. That thing works because it gets rid of a lot of the problems that are associated with being sick. That and like other little weird things. Dark chocolate helps too. That could be a psychological kind of thing, but I don't know. I was told it helped, and it used to feel like it did, you know. But that was all so long ago for me. I mean, the serious part of it, I had relapses over the years. Relapse being just someone had some and offered them to me. Hey, I just came across this. My friend had surgery. You want to buy his? Yeah, I guess I'll take them and have them for a couple of days and they're gone. But I mean, as far as being addicted to it, I mean, that was 2016. Moving here was when I put them down for good. And a lot of that had to do with moving here. Because drugs, depending on the drug, of course, there is the physical dependency you build up. But most of the situation is mental. Most of it is in your mind, because what happens is your brain starts to make associations. Your brain, to kind of get a hold on reality and taking in the information you have around you, is always looking for like hooks to hang on to. They're always looking for what would be later a trigger to you. You know, they're always looking for associations, to associate this with that as a quick way of you figuring out your environment. It's like, oh, we did this before. Remember that? Remember the fucking the real red wagon? What happened? So it's like your brain's always trying to do that anyway. And it's the same thing with these fucking things, these 7-O's. No different. Now the strength can be debated. I don't know exactly what a 1-to-1 on like a oxycodone pill would be, or Vicodin, or something like that. I don't know what the strength difference is. I've seen some crazy stuff. People talk about the 7-O being stronger than morphine. I don't know about that. I've tried morphine a couple times. My friend was prescribed to it for his back. He's on it for years. But I haven't taken it enough to know what it's like. Another friend of mine is really into the Ultram. It's Tramadol. He says that's way stronger than Percocet and oxycodone, but I don't think so at all. So a lot of it has to do with your personal body chemistry too. But these things, I react to them in the same way I did with the Percocet, with the opioids. And as I mentioned earlier, or I think it's going to be earlier, I don't know what order it's going to come out, but they had they're looking into this now. They want the FDA to make it very clear that this stuff has barely anything to do with kratom. I was just in the store the other day, and a woman came in and was like talking to my friend that works there, and she's like, yeah, I want to try those new kratom hydroxy 7-Os. And my friend, who I red pilled on the whole situation, she tells him, she's like, no. I mean, she tells her, no, these, just so you know, these are not kratom. It's barely kratom. It's like they take one aspect of kratom. She explained to her what I'm always saying, what I explained to her, and the woman just taking it and like, okay, well, just try it. That's what happens. People are gonna try it, and they're gonna get really fucked over, big time. But I'm still doing it. I mean, I'm still in the addiction. Now, I'm also addicted to caffeine, nicotine, regular kratom too. Oh, yeah, that's on top of all this. I take regular kratom every day, the powder kratom. I had a guy in the comments that was like saying, man, you should just take the powder. I thought he meant the 7-O powder, because they have 7-O powder too. It's like, it's so much better for you. And I'm thinking, it's probably the same thing. But I didn't realize what he was talking about was regular leaf kratom, powder kratom, which is what I'm already on anyway. Now with the 7-O, I take much less powder kratom. Even though they're not the same thing, the kind of effects of the 7-O kind of override the kind of need for any of the powder kratom. I still take a little bit. In 7-O as well, they have different kinds of, like with kratom, the powder kratom, you get like a red and you get white. There's also green, which is kind of in between. But it's really just the intensity and the effect. Like with red strains, you get more like relaxed. It's more geared toward pain relief, a sleep aid, where the white strains of leaf kratom give more stimulation, and also the euphoric type of feeling that is with all leaf kratom. In the same way, 7-Os, they have the same things. They have like the 7-O blue boxes, which are for white, and they have red for red boxes for red kratom. But the red 7-O doesn't really like the leaf too. I don't take much of the red leaf. I don't know. I guess I don't want to go to sleep. Are we going into Ross? Nah, we don't need to go into Ross. I came over here because somewhere in my unconscious computer I was being told I'm going to Ross, but I don't need to. There's nothing there. I've already been in there today. That's how I know there's nothing in there. The Ross, though, I mean, you got to kind of stay on top of them. They sneak stalk the place, so you got to keep one eye very fixed on them. And I do. I'm like fucking Sauron with that place. Still coming out of Target. I noticed this on my phone. He's going to resettle the Palestinians in Gaza Strip. That's ultimately what they wanted. They wanted them out of there. It's kind of funny, like the whole thing. I mean, obviously it was his big plan. He's been good for them. He was chosen to go in there because he's going to be good for them. That one of the things he did immediately start talking about was deporting people who were in Palestinian protests. Hey, what's up, man? Back to Palestine, and bringing harsher, stricter anti-Semitism laws in. From the way I looked at it, from what I've read about it, it's not going to stop shit posters from posting anti-Israel stuff. People like myself. But it's more toward people that are out there on the street, protesting. So it's from what I picked up. It's not going to do much as far as online posting that I could see. They might at some point make online posts be threatening, I guess, or be classified as threatening. Kind of like what goes on in the UK. If you say anything about not liking having your people murdered by migrants, you go to jail. You're a naughty boy. Most of the world's like that, though. Whenever certain groups want to protest or at least complain, maybe even about having a boot on their neck, if you complain about it, you're the bad man. You have to take the murder, you have to take the rape, you have to take the assault, and if you complain about it, you're just a racist. That's full flight still going on in the UK. Hopefully that's kind of running out of time here in the States, especially with all the stuff he's doing. And again, when I say he's doing, it's not really him. This stuff is all in advance. They figure out what they want to do and how they want to do it. And he's just a spellcaster. Like, he's the one delivering the spells through language. That's why they need people that are good talkers, But, yeah, it's not, none of these are his ideas. But throughout all the things that are being done, what they're saying being done by him, there's a lot of good stuff, like air quotes, like things that people can get behind. But among all that is all this like anti-Semitism stuff. It seems to be a big concern of his. Now, what is anti-Semitism? It's criticism. Really, it's all it is. All you're saying something that someone doesn't like, directed at, a certain group of people. But, I mean, you can do that with everyone. Most people you can just talk shit about. It's called free speech. It's a little thing I like to call free speech. But people can go online, I mean, they say awful shit about white people. That's why I've kind of become more of an online activist with that stuff. Because people are just saying anything they want. And it's always been that way, that's fine. But, there's not a lot of pushback to it because people are afraid of being branded this or that. But whereas you can just talk shit about people, certain people you can't talk shit about and they give it a name. Anti-Semitism. As a joke, I came up with anti-Gaelicism for the Irish, saying stop anti-Gaelicism hate. The Irish would never have anything like that, though, because we're way too fucking cool. Don't give a shit about that stuff. When I say we, I am I'm speaking for all Irish people. And yeah, we're not victim mentality people. Never have been. Like I was saying recently, I didn't even know that we were enslaved by black people until I was in my 30s. Oh, I'm sorry. The Moors. The Moors. All right. Big difference. Yeah, I didn't know about that because we don't really dwell on that shit. Like, and even talking about it, to people I knew, or my uncles and family, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it was terrible. It was this thing and that." Just quickly went over it, and he said something like, "Yeah, but it was a long time ago." And that's the thing. It was a long time ago. I mean, when that happened, the people in Ireland that were there at the time, there's no one, I mean, there wouldn't even be, descendants maybe, they're descendants of them, but the people themselves, they're not around anymore, no one was there. So to try to, make some kind of victim thing out of it, well, it would be ridiculous. We wouldn't think of doing that, I know some people do, But I would say that's because we don't have a lot of other stuff going on. When you don't do a lot of cool stuff, you got to kind of come up with something for you to have. But yeah, we're not that type of people. Never have been. There's memes about it. So to me, that's 100% settled science. But yeah, but no one's ever come up with a name to keep people from just making fun of, because anything is considered anti-Semitism. Like, you make fun of anything about Jewish people, like the funny hats or, how the weird stuff they did, and the really vile stuff that goes on in the community. The Talmud. You want to get some interesting fucking light reading. They pretty much say anyone that isn't in their group is an animal, is a dog. And they allow relations with children. It's a part of their whole thing. And there's always some rabbi there that's going to come out and argue with you about it. The Talmud does not say you can have sex with a 3-year-old. It says you can marry a 3-year-old. They're like that. They're lawyers, They're lawyers. There's a lot of books. There's like the Talmud is like this books. It's more than one. It's not just like one thing. But it's collected in these different editions, and some wild stuff in there. Just degenerate stuff that they don't want people knowing about. Another thing they go into is like it's just conversations between rabbis. That's all it is. It's like, well, that's not a good excuse. Like, why are they talking about that shit? And then you look at stuff like the Bible and the history of ritualistic blood harvesting, which has always gone on, still goes on today. It's probably happening a lot in Gaza, Yeah, getting back to the Gaza thing, it's like this is perfect. This is what they wanted, But if they just went ahead and said, hey, we're going to resettle all the Palestinians, people would be like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Resettle? What the fuck? You're taking the land, you're throwing them up? But after this whole incident, for all this time of this murder and chaos and war going on over there, well, I don't know if I call it a war, it's more like just one-sided trouncing. People are like, okay, good, yeah, just get them out of there, resettle them. See how it works? You should. You gotta pay attention to shit like that. So yeah, they still run the world, without doubt. But that's fine. It's Satan's realm, man. They made a deal with him long ago to fuck over humanity. That little that famous painting, Gador Dustbuster, where Satan is standing over the cliff and he's looking down the city and he's offering it to Jesus, and Jesus is like, nah, I'm good, fuck you. He did the same thing with them. And they were like, yeah, okay. And modern world. And that's what's going on. They're not all bad people. Like, I grew up with them. I had some that were so close to me, I would probably refer to them as brother and over friend. And, girlfriends and things like that from that, who don't really have any idea about any of this stuff. I hate to see them get lumped in with all these assholes, because more people every day are waking up to what they've been doing for many, many years. But again, like when I talk about how the first world's being destroyed, or our world in general is being destroyed, whether it's through immigration or what the hats are doing, it's fine, because this has to be destroyed. There is no saving this. There isn't going to be, Trump talks about this return to golden America. Yeah, there's probably some things you could do to make things better in the short term, but ultimately, No one's gonna fix things. Hang on a second. Half a million miles away. It's bullshit. I had to stop and talk to my Mossad agent neighbor again. We were just talking about how things here, they don't get done correctly. Like our building they've been doing a project here that was supposed to take a year, and it's blown past due. And the thing is, because everybody's running some kind of fucking scam here all the time, and I've said it many times, from the tallest building downtown to the corner store, is some kind of scam. And that's fine. I have no interest, none of my business or whatever. But, we've been going on 2 years of just fucking drilling here, and they're trying to sandblast the building and repaint it. So my front door in my apartment, I usually leave it ajar just to get air in. And they've come there like 6, 7 times just to get the door itself painted. The first time they showed up to tell me they're doing it, and I'm like, okay, cool. They showed up again to do the trim. They showed up again to do around the windows, and they showed up again to put the first layer primer, like the white stuff down, and then they showed up again to paint the edges. And now my front door, it's just white with 2 splotches of paint. Basically, they drag shit out forever, and that's because of the way contracts are done. They have a contract with someone, and it's for an X amount of time, or however they do it. It's not done by what they're it isn't predicated on the work they do. They don't have to work any certain amount of hours. It's just kind of done at the pace everything else is done here, which is slow. And then when it's done, it's not done well. We're talking about the building here, the shoddy construction of this place. It's a death trap. Occasionally, one of these buildings go up. We get these big fires. There was a building further down the alleyway, the Marco Polo building, huge fire. And when the fire was going, they couldn't get to it because of the way the parking lot was laid out. It's very idiocracy. It's a very idiocracy type of place. And I was trying to tell her, I'm like, have you spent time on the regular mainland? She's like, oh yeah, I lived here and there and there and there. And I'm like, so this isn't like anything else, because she's talking about America. And I'm in America. You think they'd have this done? You think they'd be able to do that, or not have the wires in my light fixture hanging out? And I'm like, yeah, but this isn't America. This is very, very much has nothing to do with the mainland America. It's just a different vibe. And they have something here that they refer to as brain drain, meaning the best and brightest in any field tend to go to the mainland because there's more money there. So what you're left with here is people that you call to fix something, and they can't fix it. They can put a Band-Aid on it and then come to your house twice a year for the rest of your natural life to put more Band-Aids on it. It's just, this place is wild. But it's beautiful weather. You can't argue with the weather. Thanks for popping in. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Oh, one last thing. Me and the Mossad lady were talking in the garage just now. And I was telling her, I'm like, every time I'm in here, cars pull up and they need to park right where I'm standing. We're against this thing. We're talking against this thing right here. And as we're talking, a car comes in, this blue car here, pulls up, and it's got to go in that space. It's got to back into that space. But somehow, because we were here, they were too nervous making that move, so we had to move for them. As I was explaining how that happens to me every time I'm down there. It's funny. If you've been following that thing, and I know, a lot of people don't come every day, but if I could make a supercut of that stuff, it would be worth doing. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.